Good morning, YouTubes, and how is everybody? I say morning, it's probably not morning where you are, it's probably evening. Probably sat down with a brew watching this rubbish. Very quick one today. When I got home from my winter's ride, I thought I've done about 500-600 miles on this lot of oil on the old trusty rusty RS. So I thought I'd give it an oil change while it was nice and hot. It's nice on the Honda, I know I'm progressing slightly, but it's nice that you can drain the oil on the side stand, and rather than the oil plug being under the motor like on most bikes, it's on the side there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm still not used to how far away this needs to be to focus. So there you go, drained into an old washing up bowl. It never was a washing up bowl, it's a bowl that I bought. And I always drain, let's have a look, what we got in there. Oh, it looks nice and clean. I always drain oil into a clean bowl. I make sure it's completely clean and washed out so that I can see any debris in the bottom, and I know that anything in the bottom has come from this motor. So I'm going to tip that into my container, ready to go at the tip where I've got a recycling bin, and then chuck some oil in. I use the old Castrol Power 1 power release technology for superior acceleration. Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to make a lot of difference. The only reason I use this is because I use it on the multi-strada as well. It is good oil, it's over 10 quid a litre. Not that I worry too much about what goes in this, as in cost wise, because it only takes 1.3 litres, something like that. Oh, is that head gasket getting worse? I think it might be. Might have to do that. Might have to do that before the Wales 360, which is a plan for this coming summer, the Wales 360 with John and Simon, who I did the half the NC 500 with last year, or year before last I think it was. And I will give this a good wash today. But in other news, the rest of this video is going to be about the Ducati Cafe Racer, which is under this blanket. Under these blankets, should I say. I'm going to drag this out and see if it starts up. I've got to unlock it. It's got multiple locks all over it, so I've got to unlock it first. Everything gets well chained up in here, although my garage is very secure. So even the multi-strada when it's parked has the old lock in the front and the back. Alarms, cameras, the lot. But yeah, I'm digressing again. But yeah, I'm going to drag that out on the driveway. It hasn't been started. I was having to think about this. I don't think it's been started since maybe September would have been the last time I rode it. Well, last time I started it. So I did plug in the charger. I've got an Optimate charger which was on the multi, so I plugged it into this a couple of days back just to top the battery up. It is on a timer, certainly gives it a couple of hours a day just to keep them ticking over. And I'll drag it out and I'll do a real-time start, see if it does start on the fuel that it has in there. It would have been super unleaded because that's all I ever use. On everything I use super unleaded. So that's basically for the ethanol content, because this has got a fiberglass tank with a little window in the side. Can you see the fuel level there? Look at that, it needs a fuel gauge. Okay. But yeah, I'll drag it out, as I say, super unleaded, see if it's stood the test of time and it's lasted in there. I do use super unleaded in this as well, but that's basically because all the rubber parts are, well, they're not old because I've replaced a lot of them, but I want to try and make sure that they stay flexible and they don't piss fuel everywhere. Right then, let's get this plug in, top the oil up and have a quick look at what debris is in the bottom of that container. Now these don't run a filter, as you probably heard me gripe about in the past. They run a gauze filter, which is under this cover. It lives about there, but I'm not going to take the cover off. I'm going to do that every other change, because the last oil change I flushed out the bottom of the cases and it was lovely and clean when it all went back together. So I'm going to see what debris is in the oil. If there is debris in the oil, then that case is coming off and the filter will be checked. If it's nice and clean, then it won't. Right then, let's see what's in the oil. Back again, absolutely genuinely, that is, you probably can't see that, but that is what's in the bottom. Nothing. What's that? There's a little bit of something in there. Don't know what that is. It's metallic though. Right, let's pop that on the side. Give me hands a wipe. Let's go get a magnet, shall we? Let's see if that's magnetic. Where did it go? There. Nope. Nope. That's a bit of stone. Yeah, okay. That's a bit of stone. I'm wondering if that's just fallen off the bottom of the motor while the can's been there. So, good news. The RS, there's no twinkling like the stars in the sky at me, which obviously, as anyone knows, isn't good news. That is lovely, lovely clean. So the case on the side with the filter is not coming off. No, it's not coming off. That is going to be what it is. So happy days. I'm going to chuck some oil in the RS, and then we'll crack on with the Ducati. Chat soon. RS oiled up, ready to go. So Ducati Pantah Cafe Racer. I've dragged it out, I've unlocked it, dragged it out. I notice the lens makes it look a funny shape on here. I suppose maybe it is a funny shape. But let's go for a start up. This is genuine. I did leave the fuel on because the carbs had a habit of drying out, and they're a bit of a pain in the arse when they're dry. So hopefully the carbs should still have fuel in. So I've not even switched the ignition on. Let's give it a bit of choke. What have we got? We got lights. Okay, let's turn the headlights off. Let's give it a couple of pumps, see what happens. I'd suggest we have a flat battery. Right then, let's see what we can do about that. I have got a jump pack in the front of the car, but the battery is under the tank there. So let's have a look, see what we can do. Right, hopefully the old time lapse works. So now we have charge pack. It's flashing away. I don't know why it's flashing away. Obviously means something. I've earthed it to the top of the coil, and the live is to the starter solenoid live feed side. So the choke is on. Let's give it a go now. Okay. One cylinder. I'm not getting a good connection because this should be spanking up. Let's try that again. Alright, I was about to say, is that the front or the back cylinder? Easy way to tell. Hand on the exhaust pipe. That is the front cylinder. So, rear cylinder. No fuel. I wonder if I can blow in that. Will that? Let's see if that's pushed a bit of fuel through. Okay, right, doesn't want to run with the choke off. But there you go. It runs. Oh, look at that. Lovely bit of smoke just popping out the carb there. So, and we do have 2 cylinders. Obviously you've heard it running. Let's chuck the tank back on. I'll give you a walk round, talk round of the bike. And yeah, I'm glad that fired up. So I just need to charge the battery up. I'll talk about what I've done underneath the tank, I suppose, because normally you'd have a big air box would sit here underneath the tank on the standard Pantah. But obviously this isn't a standard Pantah anymore. It's a Pantah frame, but it was actually off a Cagiva Allazura, which you can Google if you're not sure what that is. But as I wanted to make it as clean as possible, on the standard Pantah, the battery would normally sit here, and it would be twin shock, so you'd have 2 shocks coming down for the swing arm. But obviously this is now monoshocked, with the monoshock up at the back there. I did set the geometry to what I thought would be about right, and it does work. Works nice, rides nicely. So the coils, these are Dyna coils. Obviously they wouldn't normally sit there on the standard bike. On the standard bike it all sits in there, the electrics, but I needed somewhere for the battery. So the battery, which is a small motor bat, which are pretty reliable, sits in there. The electrics mostly sit across the top, so you've got your 2 CDI units which are there for either cylinder. You've got your starter solenoid there, and you've got the coils there, and obviously everything then feeds down. The engine and the running gear are from a 1991 Ducati 750 RS. I bought a whole bike. It was a very dodgy, not dodgy, let's just say scruffy, a rotten bike. I think it cost me about 700 quid, and it could have gone back on the road, but it would have needed a lot of work. So I basically cannibalized it. I cut the monoshock rear mount out, welded it into this frame. I used the SS swing arm and wheels, cut down carbon hugger. That's a new shock that I fitted when I refurbished the bike recently. Use the engine, so it's a 750 engine, 750 SS engine. The carbs are 36mm Delautos, PHF 36s. The front one is on a standard, if you can see that, standard Pantah manifold, running the SS oil cooler and the SS exhaust pipe. The rear carb, obviously the cylinder head faces the opposite way. On a Pantah, where the exhaust pipe is there, that would be the carb. The carb would sit there, the exhaust would come out of the front, and it will curl out through the frame tube and under the motor. Obviously this is a reversed head engine for those of you that know Ducatis. So what I did was I took half of a Pantah manifold, half of the SS manifold. They've been welded together, as you can see, so the carb now sits within the frame. That took a fair bit of fiddling, as you can imagine, to try and get that in there. But the length is very similar to the tune length of the other cylinder, slightly longer, but that's not a big issue. And obviously that also runs a bell mouth. I do have K&N filters as well, but then if you can see in there, there's a bit of as you can see, it does catch the crap, a bit of perspex just to stop muck and shit flinging up off the front wheel, which does work. Forks and yokes are standard 750 SS, as is the switch gear. I use the majority of the loom from the 750 SS to mount to the bike. Clocks, 750 SS again. There's the fuse box. I managed to source a new sticker off of eBay for that, which I'm quite pleased with. So yeah, clocks. Fairing bracket I made that was a lot of work. That was probably 3 or 4 days work to make that. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but if you've ever tried to mount a fairing and clocks to a bike they're not designed to fit, and you've got to make everything fit, so you've got handlebars that have to obviously have the full range of movement, that can't get in the way, nothing needs to touch, the tank needs to fit, the clocks need to fit, you need to be able to sit behind it. The headlight, I did run a slightly different headlight to this, but long story short, I sold this bike once to a friend of mine and then bought it back. But while it was in his ownership, he sourced a headlight from CCM. He's got a collection of CCMs. He gets number 2 of all the limited range bikes. He's a very good customer of theirs. So he sourced a headlight. It looks horrifically expensive. And he said, if you're not going to use that, I'll have that back as a spare. But funny enough, it does actually work very well. So I have left it on. So that was a CCM headlight, full LED. See if we got power. We got enough power for that, haven't we? There we go. And move around so I can reach the levers. There you go. That works nicely. And on the normal run, oh sorry, side light, you get a nice little LED halo ring. So yeah, I like that. And that's stayed on. Indicators are cheapy eBay ones. They do work. And then obviously you got your headlamp flash. Battery's a bit too dead for the horn, but you got your horn as well. But everything works as it should work. It's all 750SS, so it's easy to get parts for. I did crash it. Crashed it in France on a trip. Hence we've got the built to be ridden, not hidden. So that caused the damage there, and it did snap this bit of trim piece there. But I do have one. In fact, I'll show you. I don't know where that is. There we go. I've got one. I managed to source one off of eBay, so that will get fitted at some point. Front wheel 750SS, as are the forks. Carbon mudguard. Can't remember where I got that from. And it just runs a single disc, which is perfectly fine for this bike. As you can probably see from the tyres, this bike has had some track use, as you can see. It's been used. Went down to the Boldor. There we go, Boldor 2015. Rode it all the way down there with luggage, and it's done a few track days, and it's done the Bike Shed Cafe Racer Cup, the inaugural Cafe Racer Cup as well. So it has been used. The tank is a fiberglass item, which cost a horrific amount of money. That's one of 2. There's only 2 of these been made, and this was the second one. I don't even want to talk about how much money that was, in case my wife is watching this video. But let's just say with the paint, it was into 4 figures. That's another story. Seat unit is just a little cheap fiberglass one, and obviously I chopped and made a subframe for it. Cheapy lamp off of eBay, and obviously rear indicators. It's got a bit floppy, I think. No, I've had the cover on that, haven't I? I've had the sheet over it, bent it down a little bit. So there we go. I do have a new number plate for this as well, which I'll find because it's disappeared off somewhere. But as you can see on the bottom of there, if you can see that, Pantah, Ducati 750 Pantah. But yeah, that's it. Let me chuck the tank on and I'll do another little walk round. I'll see if I can find a new plate for it. I thought I'd pull it out in the light so you get a better view. Tank back on. I did take it, it was in the second ever bike shed show as well, up in London. So it's done a bit of everything. well, apart from green laning obviously. But when I got it back off of my friend, it did need a bit of recommissioning, because unfortunately it had been sat for a while. The carbs got gummed up and he didn't really use it, so it did need a fair bit of work. When I got it back, I spent I think about 700-800 quid on it, on sort of recommissioning. A chunk of that was the shock, but it got completely stripped down. It got new bearings, got a lot of attention. So the number plate, this is one that my friend bought and never fitted, and I chucked him a few quid for it. Obviously this is a Ducati Pantah, and this will be the new plate, PAN 6H, with a cheeky little T chucked in there, Pantah. How good is that? Yeah, I just need to I've got to do the paperwork for it, which I haven't got around to doing yet. Lazy sod. So Aussie rear sets, they took a while to source. They actually come from Italy to source those. Yeah, but yeah, there we go. I'm not running the belt guards on at the moment. I really should, but it's nice to see everything spinning. So there we go. That is my Ducati stroke Cagiva Cafe Racer. And I know a few people did ask about it, and I did say I'd do a little video. So there we go. Quick walk around. Hope you like it. I do. Again, I'm not going to make the mistake of selling it again. So this will be out a few times in the summer. Give it a bit of a blast to a few shows, grab some coffee and stuff like that with it. Happy days, YouTubes. Hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the little RS video. All's well in the world with the RS. I just need to get this properly charged up, and then I'll fire it up and give it a spin. So that won't be today, and it won't be till the salt's washed off the roads, because this is a fair weather bike. I'm not a fair weather rider, as you know, but this is a fair weather bike. There's just too much on it that's going to corrode and rot away. So YouTubes, ride safe, catch you soon, see you soon. I'm back. I couldn't leave the video with the bike running with the tank off and not running 100%. So it's been on charge for a couple of hours. That's probably a better angle, isn't it? You can get a better view now. Is that better? Yeah. It's been on charge for a couple of hours, but it was on the tender, and obviously the tender isn't a proper charger, so it wasn't quite on green, and it was still charging. But let's just see. Do you know, that might get a bit close to the belt. Let's tuck that in there. I'll take that off at some point. So let's just see if it fires up. I'll try and prop the camera to see if I can get a bit of a look. It's on a little cheapy tripod that I bought. Does that work? That sort of works, doesn't it? Alright, let's give it a go. Right, I think we'll call that a failure. Yeah, it needs a fully charged battery, and that's not fully charged. So let's wheel it back in, save that for another day. At least you heard it running, and you get a better view of it. Yeah. Right then, you know me, I do everything as is. No fancy editing, no messing around. You get it warts and all, including my gaffs. So Not that that's a gaff, it just doesn't run. It just needs a bit of a better battery and probably a little bit better fuel. So take care, YouTubes. Hope you've enjoyed this short episode, and that's answered a few questions with regards to the Pantah Cafe Racer. Stay safe, catch you soon. Nearly running. Stale fuel and a flat battery. Let's try it again. You know I wasn't going to give up without getting it running. So there you go. The fuel, you won't be surprised to know, was, ignore the leaf that blew in there. Yeah, that looks more like piss than fuel. So drain the carbs, refilled them with fresh fuel through a funnel, charge pack, and it fired up after I gave the plugs a clean. They were manky. So happy days. As usual, I always had a bit on the end of these, don't I? But I couldn't leave it not running. So stay safe, YouTubes. See you soon.